Let's see what's happening now. So, hi everybody. I am Yaeunda, the founder and CEO of Everything Metaverses, and now I am about to start the room on Twitter. So it's starting now, and I'm just preparing for the live support that I'll be providing as I go through my latest training and development. So just waiting for everybody to come into the room and we're going to get started. I started a little bit late, but that's okay. I really do enjoy bringing people in and teaching, training, and developing. My name is Yonda, and I am the founder and CEO of Everything Metaverses. We have everything fashion, everything human resources, and we're niched in real estate. We are on the project Tropiverse, and we're building a metaverse. How cool is that? And our metaverse is a tropical metaverse. And we have 10 phases in our metaverse. So if you go to tropiverse.com, you'll be able to see really exciting things coming. Our marketplace, our coin, as well as our metaverse. And so if you're interested, we do have jobs. We offer jobs for digital agents in the metaverse, as well as we're excited to be selling, like to be looking at our digital land, to be talking about use cases of our digital land. So I just want to welcome everybody. Good morning to the people in the room, Mr. G, Chris. Hey, hey, good morning to you all. I have my Jumbotron going. Yes, that's right. Y'all like, girl, yeah. I went ahead and did just another class, another webinar to educate us. So I am sharing my screen. And then I thought I would do a visual. Every week on Tuesdays, we've really been peeling back the layers of the basics of Digital Millennial Copyright Act. How are you this morning, Mr. G? I am doing fantastic. Can't complain. You know, that makes so much sense, Mr. G. And here I am. I am consulting. I am on site with one of my franchise owners. And as I'm on site with one of my franchise owners, she bought this, insurance company. So I'm sitting here and just seeing, what she's going through and getting her operations ramped up. And I'm like, in the back of my head, it keeps tickling my head a little bit, that insurance piece. So that's really good to just layer on those multiple streams of income. Chris, how are you this morning? My DJ. Emergent. How are you? Okay, I know how we do early in the morning. We get in and we start retweeting. Thank you, Chris. I'm telling you, we didn't told them. We didn't told them. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you're talking about the room that we were all in last night. We kind of wound up there, right? Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it's
It's one of those touchy topics that once you open that can of worms, you can't close it. And just to really touch on it really quickly, we were talking about the three no-nos, about, religion, sexual orientation, and politics in an open forum. And if you're selling something, you want to stay away from these three topics like the plague, because once you go into them, you can't undo them, and you're literally chopping off prospective customers or clients or opportunities to do business.
That's kind of correct, the three, but that's what happened is the whole conversation got sidetracked. Yeah, people have these words that they bundle certain things in. Politics to me,
they're hot buttons,
and religion,
they're really not.
but or I don't know, religions are good examples, but the sexual orientation, that's your gig, I'm not trying to address that. This is a civics and a civic
opinion.
Huh?
Those three topics are opinions, and opinions can't be wrong. They're yours.
Oh yeah, but there's a politic mechanism. But there is a politic mechanism that needs to be addressed because our Washington and most of our local jurisdictions are broken.
Well, yeah, they're broken.
But the religion and the sexual identity is not a topic I was addressing. I didn't want to get there.
I got what you meant, and I got what you said, and the room stayed on topic. It's just that it's when you open up those three channels, you get bombardment from everywhere. And it sounded like a mess, but it really wasn't, because the speakers stayed on topic, the listeners even stayed on topic, and our wonderful hosts and moderators kept everyone on topic. And this is the beauty of a collaboration between geniuses. I mean, this is how you keep something on track. This is how you can open the bottle and talk about things. And as long as you're talking and it's opinion and people respect each other's opinion, it's going to grow and it's going to stay on track. The second you start treating fact as an opinion, or you start, going off with this team and saying you're with these guys and you hate those guys, and you're going to do this and you're not going to do that, that's when you start pigeonholing or cornholing yourself into a position that you won't be able to get out of. And I mean, you won't.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't care who you know. I don't care who you work with. You put yourself in that position, you're done. Donezo. ask Kanye about that. You feel me? Ask Papa about that.
Let's get to what we're talking about here today, because we might need to get a domain hammered out right quick so we have it. Have you seen any social media platforms called Community?
As a matter of fact, I have, from the aspect of what I sat back and I started paying attention even more to Zentarius, and I've been working inside of Zentarius and another app. And so I always begin with the end in mind. And today we're talking about the Digital Millennial Copyright Act. We're talking about copywriting, and we're talking about trademarking. And these are all important because you're content creators. So we are live streaming on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. Okay. And so those are our 4 live feeds today. And so Jumbotron. So I propped up a class really quick from that, because we've been doing this week over week over week. And so when I started to look into Zentarius, I was saying, beginning with the end in mind, as we continue to build the trust network, the trust network needs to be ready to work in the next 3 weeks, work. And so, because there's some huge opportunities. So, getting through and bringing the community in, I saw Zentarius as a social app for a minute. Then I started to be able to post directly from Zentarius to many of my social links and outlets. And now they have the video conferencing piece to it. So I'm saying in my head, what else do I need? So because I trust that they're going to authenticate and dox people coming in So, and then I'm just liking kind of what I see and filling in the blanks. So I'm really working with Zentorius from a user perspective to be what I need it to be. And so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I think it looked pretty good. The ads might need a little bit more investigation or like a window or something. Give you a little overview before you click on it, because I got lost twice. And for that first time I got lost, I was gone for the first 2 weeks on that other station, Geniuses.
Absolutely. And so, and what I found myself doing is I've come back to it a couple different times. And now I'm like sinking in because I'm testing another platform as well. And I'm testing that platform from an enterprise perspective. So, and I'm looking at how many companies can I do business with inside of this particular community. So let me start.
Are you referring to enterprising companies or enterprise itself as a company? I just want to make sure.
So enterprising companies, plural. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question. And yeah. So in my mindset, I'm talking to business owners. We've been talking now for the last year and talking about what does doxing look like for you all. Like, and so taking is are people registered companies or not? And so is that really necessary to be able to do business with one another? Or can we operate under each other's business license? So maybe that requires a joint venture agreement. So I've really been going down and partnership agreements. And so I've really been going down those pieces. But first things first is, do my business partners know like some of the laws to protect themselves and to protect the company, the trust network? Right? So, Emergent, your expertise, like Chris, your expertise, Mr. G, Yomi, and everybody that comes into this room, let's talk through really those expertise in areas that maybe are blind spots for us. So, I see Digital Millennial Copyright Act as a blind spot that if people aren't understanding what it is, it could cause some whirlwinds and keep people focused off of the bigger picture. Just my thoughts.
And they're good thoughts. I mean,
I just sent you a little picture.
Okay.
I'm so blessed and thankful that I have you now, Yaeunda, because I need that C3PO to my RDD2 that speaks how can I say e-commerce language and business language, and I can line up my partners through you so that I don't have to take time doing that step. You follow what I'm saying? Like that's why your Baltimore office is attractive to me, because we can help each other on so many different aspects and levels within our companies and who we work for. And it made sense on a trust level for me to trust you first. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And Emergent.
You got my back. I ain't worried about nothing that, you know what I mean? Nothing that we do. You know what I'm saying? That's the big step.
And absolutely. And and I appreciate your trust. And trust is not anything that you take lightly. Good morning, Yomi. Good morning, Abbas. Hello, and hello, Meta Lord NFT. Good morning, and y'all all welcome to join in. This morning, we're talking about really the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, and we're talking around compliance and understanding the trust network as a whole. Because when I look at the trust network, there's a lot of work for us to do. And so in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be pivoting because I want to teach you all the bag, literally teach you all the bag and where we're going as a trust network and how we're going to level up. You know, I threw out some lofty goals. I said things like, there's Crypto Zay. Hello, good morning. I threw out some lofty goals like, you know, can we have a 7-figure year day? A 7-figure year. And it's really around your goals, but it's also about the activity around those goals. So as you're leveling up, are you bringing brands along that level up? But also that the authenticator of the businesses and you all behind the businesses and understanding this piece. Go ahead, Emergent.
Just 1 second, 1 second.
I mean, this is serious alpha, though. I don't know if anybody gets it. This is the one I've been waiting for. Obviously, this ties in more to my field than most of the topics.
Yeah, it's LLC. I'm sorry, LLCs. Mine just expired on one of my little ventures. But what kind of Rolodex or authentication thing does the big word in the room, government, have for you to reference to authenticate people?
It's not a word.
I mean, there's got to be a brick and mortar connection.
There's too many components to break down like that when you say the word government. I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, our government sold itself to private individuals a long time ago. We really don't have government. We really don't have separate, this is just the government. There's partnerships involved when you say government. That's the beauty of what's happening right now, is these big companies are taking these government contracts, and they're all different. There is no one contract that's like, oh, it's got to be this, we got to do this, we got to do this. No, each one is different. Everyone has a different CRM. Everyone has a different, you see what I'm saying, tokening policy. Everybody has a different, it's all different. You have to set up each metaverse the way you are going to do business and protect yourself as a business, or protect your clients as a client, or protect your communities as communities. There is no one way to do this. That's why we need geniuses. And these companies know we're geniuses. And they're ready to compensate us if you're in place to be compensated. That's what this is about.
Amen, brother. Hey, you sound like the Waterdown man. Like literally, you just shh. Like you.
I'm saying, like, this is my time. I know it. This is my purpose. I'm walking my path through the Lord with Christ. And I know we stay away from religion, but I'm staying in religion with this one. I'm not cutting away my religious side. You see what I'm saying? I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. And this is about that. This is about getting yourself positioned so that you have control of your ventures. You have control of your endeavors. We as individuals are being given the opportunity to become entities, to become companies. Pay attention. If you want to work for somebody for the rest of your life, pay attention, because you can be getting into partnerships with companies that you can do that. If you don't want to work for anybody for the rest of your life, pay attention, because this is the time where you can position yourself where you can do that. This is awesomeness, pure awesomeness in a jar. And it's a 55-gallon drum, you know what I mean, that keeps expanding. It's bottomless. You keep on, you know what I mean? You make a connection with another person that you trust, and that opens up 10 more angles. And then you make another connection with somebody else that you trust, and that network opens up 100 angles. This is awesomeness.
Well, my moment of genius that stayed with me all night, as far as how to get proper pay and allegations to the whole team effort, and then to incentivize the public to come in.
You have to break down each individual incentive to get paid, is what I'm saying. Everybody isn't the same. Everybody doesn't. To some people, 4 figures is a massive salary. To some people,
I won't get paid for just the volume of trading I do. You know, kind of how like they give you tax rebates if you're a business and you're
and one small sliver of opportunity that is being presented to you right now in this room. Just this room alone. That is one fraction of what we're talking about. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
That's
Mr. G stepped up here first thing. Let me throw this question at him then, you know. If I can word it right, because because you guys are talking about your agents and stuff and commission on selling the property, but that's just like a single transaction, just like a regular real estate world, correct? You know,
But it's also something.
what's the lasting effect? Yeah, yeah. But I'm looking at something I want to be able to get into that is on that percentage level.
Okay, so
For the creators and the users. Naturally, creators are going to get in earlier, so right there's their extra little nest egg. But moving that percentage,
Well, that depends on what you want to do. Are you talking about being an agent so you can get a percentage of those sales? Or are you talking about being a referral partner that refers clients to those agents that you can get a percentage of those sales from? You see what I'm saying? Are you selling? Do you want to sell, or do you want to be a part of the sales process? I guess it's a question that's answered by another question to you.
well,
See what I'm saying?
the contracts that you guys have and stuff, you know, I haven't looked into them. You know, I had to read them on my computer. But before I even got into the bush, I had to back out and reassess and get back in there because I got compromised. But the way I can see it working out is 1,000% incentive based and nothing more than a coin to solidify the contract.
I don't know if I would word it that way because the contracts aren't constructed over the coin. The coin is merely the revenue stream that we're talking about. Instead of dollars and cents, we're just using a coin, a Bitcoin or a different form of monetary use. That has nothing to do with the actual wording of each contract, which is different. That has nothing to do with each company, which is different. That has nothing to do with the overall networking and building this world Web3 that we're talking about, the Metaverse. They're all separate topics.
Yeah, but if we had a coin set up for our project, and there's 5 people that want to work on this project, and that breaks down to 20%, so you just allocate the coins under your market cap to each person, and there's your 20%, and then you guys can make a contract or something to sell to the public a certain allotment, you know.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that's the cart before the horse. We haven't even built the multiverse that we're talking about selling each individual project or each individual component of within yet.
Yeah, well, discussion and collaboration is where you lay your cards on the table and they're in. So you should already have the allegations.
But what I'm saying is they do.
Distributed.
The companies do. That's what I'm saying. You have to ask those questions to each individual company that you're trying to position yourself within. I can't give you the answer to the question unless we're talking about specifically one topic within it. You know what I'm saying? Or no?
So Tropyverse is going to have a marketplace, right? So that's one component of the project. Tropyverse is going to have a coin. That's another of the project. And Tropyverse is going to have a metaverse. So and not to mention the physical property and the physical that will come into play sometime, which may be in physical land or a physical resort. So and that's one of the beauties that I love about our metaverse. And what stands out is that we have in real life utility that we can apply to our project. So you're connected with the digital world as well as the physical world. And so the roadmap is a very long roadmap. So and that's one of the things that I like. So if you take, for instance, each phase, okay, so each phase, so we're in phase 1, and each phase has 1,000 plots. Of those 1,000 plots, we've only released 200 of these plots so far, and there's 10 phases. So if you think 10 phases, 1,000, 10,000 plots available. And so each phase will have different points of interest and will be, and you'll be able to do different things with that, including maybe you might decide or projects might decide that they want to buy physical property, right? So how cool would it be for you to be able to have a physical property that your community can come visit, vacation to, and it's part of, and guess what? It now becomes an Airbnb concept. So when you start to think about your ecosystem generating revenue, it can be generated off of just the mere fact that you own physical real estate. And now you have those in service, and that service is working for your community. Okay. So, and there's, so now I want, and this is huge. This is like huge. So everybody gets to pick. Oh, I want to be, okay. So if Tropyversity or if Tropyville or Tropyverse has Tropyville or Tropy quarters, whatever the headquarters is, you can think about like, okay, so I want this development. I want this in our name, or I want this. So that's the beauty of, like, I'm a developer. I'm an international developer on real estate. I play with dirt. I play with sand. I look at blueprints. My business partner is Cheryl, and I have physical real estate together as well as virtual real estate together. She runs the country, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, that whole country, y'all. And so she understands tourism. She understands the segmentation of building physical real estate. So now how does that translate to digital real estate? Go ahead, Immersion.
So, do you have, I mean, you know, you copy, you paste a button for pay, and then you copy, you paste the button for extensions that offer services and stuff, and then you cut and paste a button that takes you to a game that you're hosting in a virtual theater in Tropyverse. I didn't see any of those illustrated yet that were essentially weird.
We're moving fast copy paste. That's what we're expanding that copy paste. Because if you break down that those traditional websites that you're referring to, that you take this and you take that, you have your point of sale, you have your inventory, and you do working plain, like a two-dimensional spreadsheet. That's Web 1, that's Web 2. Web 3 is what adds AI to the situation. Web 3 is what expands the capabilities that you can do within each level of this metaverse. That's what's so confusing, but also expansive and interesting about this new thing that we're all help building. This is way beyond basic e-commerce, which is what you and I are talking about in this conversation. That was 15 years ago. That was 20 years ago. That's what I set up with Toyota 20 years ago. That's what I set up with Honda 20 years ago. That's what I set up with Ford 20 years ago. This is the new web. See what I'm saying? This is the new web that's so complicated and expansive that a human being can't keep track of it all. We can't compete. We can't. It's impossible for us. We don't have enough beautiful minds to do what the computer generation is helping us do. Embrace it.
So it went weird that be more like a portal to the vendor, but it's a portal. They're the same concept of application. I mean, it's still the same process though as building your website with your buttons.
No, it's expansive. Because you have to come out of that physical. It's combining physical, virtual. You see what I'm saying? It's combining it all together. It's keeping track of each individual stream. You know what I mean? We're talking about stream theory. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about things that require higher IQs and all of us have put together. That's what we're talking about. That's what's happening right now.
Woo, wait a minute. Hold on. My brain is just like kaboom, kabang, kaboom, kabing. Like when the geniuses, listen, y'all lit right now, geniuses. There's a hand up. Geniuses. I'm too excited with this conversation, geniuses. So we're gonna go over to Crypto Zay, and I see MP3. You done came back home, boo. I'm gonna talk to you in just a minute, but we're gonna go over to Crypto Zay. Good morning.
I'm here just for you, Immersion. So you don't have to go for an hour after you show up at the end of the day. What the hell are we talking about? I sat here for a little bit and I still can't grasp it. I think we're talking about the theoretical, metaphorical aspect of Web3 and what it will eventually become. Sure, we'll eventually get there, but there's a lot that has to go into not only the tech and it being built out, but also we have to also shift how humans think, where they go to get services, all of that, how they do it, as well as business owners, how they portray themselves on the internet. Now it's a new, expansive, interactive, immersive internet. So you guys are saying the same thing. To Emergent point, you still have to have a flow.
Yes.
Right? You know, a flow of your website that would lead them to the sale or lead them to whatever endpoint you needed them to. It's the same concept, but now you're doing it within, let's say, if you have a metaverse, it's a 3D environment, or you have a 3D environment on a 2D type of setting. Like, you have to understand like what it is that you're building out and how it's going to affect your end user, so you could walk them down, you know, to lead them to the sale without all of the different stuff that will be distracting them. Because if we think about a one metaverse theory, um, similar to Ready Player Me or whatever, it'll be a lot harder for a business who sets up their virtual digital shop in this big ass mall to gain the traffic from the individuals walking in that mall, although it's all virtual. The reason I say that is because you still have to provide something that attracts the individual away from all of the distractions within that virtual world. So you still have to understand marketing. You still have to understand what your product is and your services and all of that, and find a creative new way to attract people to your service or product. I think that will be harder for the little man, considering that big corporations have enough money to put the proper marketing together and have done the research for years on how to properly market and tap into the psyche of individuals.
Agreed.
Now, that information is still presently available for individuals like ourselves to go and take advantage of, but we know that 99.9% of the folks, although we have all the information in the world in our pockets, people still act like they're dumb. So, this conversation here, we're all saying the same damn thing. And yes, we will get to that eventual place, I believe, but the conversations are to be had right now, so folks can understand that they do have the power to make things happen and have a nice market share, establish yourself enough to where by the time that this all becomes reality, they already know trusted brands to go to, right? And you could be one of them within this Web3 space. So aside from how it's going to be developed or how this new virtual space is going to be built out, you as an individual still have to answer a lot of tough questions. How am I going to attract the customer? What am I going to provide to the customer? What value, will I provide? Like, all these things still have to be answered, still have to strategize and come up with your business strategy on how you're going to get to the end goal, which is servicing the customer. Everything else around it is just, to me, the wow factor, right? Because you can have a simple, effective business strategy, but your website, it looks like crap in comparison to something that's all wow and has all the bells and whistles, but there, there's no substance there. So, like, I think folks will still do well despite them not having all the little bells and whistles, as long as they provide a service or a product that is useful, needed, whatever, right? Something that folks need. If I'm outside selling some ponchos because it just started pouring, don't nobody care on how it was branded or marketed or whatever. I'm servicing a need right at that moment. Right?
People want to stay dry.
Exactly. It don't matter what influencer them said to buy this or buy that. It don't matter. At the end of the day, it's just servicing that need, solving that problem, and of course, getting that sale at the end of the day. But that's all I wanted to contribute.
Well, I thank you for that. And I wanted to add that was eloquently put, and it is. It's, exactly where we're headed. And so I'm standing on the gas because I've been talking to you all as listeners, as speakers, as co-hosts about 2023 and what that looks like. And I've walked y'all through my storybook through authenticity. I'm graduating from procurement school. I'm doing these things. And so now in the next week and a half, I'll be going through and teaching y'all where the trust network is going to dig their heels in and be focused in. And this is the swim lane for all. So I'm talking to all about, do you have your business affairs in position to do business on a massive level? So have you registered your company? If you haven't registered your company, why not? Is that something that you want to do? Or do you want to be kind of 1099 freelancer under your own brand, but understand what that means? So literally talking to each one of you all to put your affairs in order so that we can continue to massively impact where we're headed. When you think about this, that pin post at the top, that pin post at the top is the beach club in Tropyverse. Now, let me draw this in real life. That penthouse that I have pinned, I have a penthouse that's pinned on my profile. That penthouse belongs to it, it has access to the beach club, right? So now you're able to see that's my physical penthouse, but it has access to this animated beach club. But inside the beach club, it physically exists. So the beach club physically exists in real life near the penthouse. So I'm tying this all together so that y'all see that there's physical real estate, there's digital real estate, and there is work that can be done to really make that viable. So, say for instance, somebody bought that penthouse. That penthouse is now ready to be okay. The penthouse is starting to, huh? I'm sorry. The penthouse is starting to be um, a part of that. So you would have access, you would be an owner, you would understand what the beach club looks like. So just sharing those pieces with you so that you can draw connected dots. That's a physical real estate, the actual virtual beach club, but there's a physical beach club that exists as well that goes with the property. So this is all how it ties together from that story so that you kind of look at that piece. I love what you said, Zay. That's where we're headed as a team, as a family, as a unit. So we were talking through how do you scale and move on to the omni-channel piece of it. And this is how, like your business, let's make sure businesses do businesses with business does business with people, if that makes sense. So just trying to get the people ready. So again, I'm doing a cross thing. Zay, you here early. So I got my presentation up, my latest webinar, which is the DMCA. So understanding the basics of Digital Millennial Copyright Act. So I am streaming that right now while we talk. It's not streaming to the room, Zay, but I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So I'm gonna be quiet for a moment and go on mute. I am headed over to MP3 for a hot second. Then I'm coming to Immersion and then Jesus. MP3, what's up?
Oh, girl, it's good to hear your voice. I realized I was going to work late tonight. The first thing I thought of, like, oh wait, I'm going past 3 o'clock. I think I can catch everything tonight. First time in a month. Great to be back. So I'm getting real serious about making money and $400 a day every day, stacking into crypto. I don't know if you guys are. I just wanted to talk about crypto real quick because the FTX whole collapse. That project, a lot of people, maxis, are on Twitter, and I got to meet a lot of them over the past couple of months through Spaces, and I realized they were really getting down on a lot of prices down, lost a lot.
Damn, you breaking up a bit, MP3.
Yeah. I'm in the nowhere. They passed on.
I'm having the same issue with MP3. You're cutting off, brother.
Yeah, he's a truck driver. He's in the mountainside. He's also he's a professional photographer, y'all. So y'all see him on the sidelines at the games and stuff like that, cameraman. So he be getting them shots in on ESPN and Sports Center and all those things. I'll be like, look at him courtside. Sorry. Yeah.
That should be project. Like, you should be NFTing those shots, like and getting those sold to being known as an NFT.
I'm a videographer.
I mean, shoot, videos can still be NFTs. But I think I go ahead. I think I was. I think you're better now.
I doubt it. I bet I'm gonna break up again. I wish I could have more clear communication right now, but I'm just gonna pass it.
I thought you got that dang on Tesla link, that Skylink. You didn't get that?
No, I was going to, but it's just so expensive. It's you have to pay $180 a month after a mobile one costs like around $6,000. I think it's wow.
I can hear you. Okay, so talk to us about the Bitcoin maxis. I can hear you perfect. Go ahead.
Let's talk about Solana maxis. They lost a lot of money, and the FTX. Wow. Well, I just want to tell a quick story. There's a coin called Punk that just came out, and I didn't make $9,000 in the damn token. I'm going to buy it right now. I'm just letting you know, like, it single-handedly saved Solana. And the Solana community is, like, super hyped right now. However,
Oh man, look,
That's more than bad reception. He's trying to drop some real fire, and they're not letting him.
they not letting him. Look, I got my man Salon Don in here, Wealth Gathers. He's literally like he's not a Salon Maxi, but he all over that ecosystem. I don't know if we want to wait on that to break it down, Wealth, but he got in on that bump thing and put me on it, and I made a little 20 soul off the motherfucker, but he's been eating off of it, so we'll see.
yeah, I bought a lot of L-Ron from it, and some NFTs for the first time ever.
Well, I'm just gonna tell y'all, there's a lot of coins out there, and I'm starting to get into this whole trade market. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for a second, but I'm gonna head over. Emergent was first, then Jesus.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about the LLC process in the 3D web because I know how it works in real life, but how hard is it, or how much more convenient is it to establish one to operate under?
It's the same process, unless I'm mistaken.
You're not. It is the same process. The only thing is the digital would be more on the intellectual property side and the rights that you reserve for it. But as an entity, like an LLC will still be an LLC. You would just have intellectual property tied to it.
Well, I mean, I paid an accountant to set mine up, and it didn't cost nothing. I probably tipped him more than it cost. So, yeah. Is there a brokerage to look for to set that up, or just do it in your state?
So look, opening up a LLC or any type of entity, you can actually do it yourself. All you gotta do is file with your state secretary. there's services out there to do it for you if obviously you ain't got the time or don't know the whereabouts, and they usually charge you for it. Or if you're applying in a state that you don't physically live, you may have a registered agent, which is just a company or an individual that will basically be your representative within that state and have your mail come to their address, so you can legally open it up in that particular state. But like I said, there's services that'll do it for you. But honestly, you can get it all done by yourself. The main thing that I would say you ought to pay for and should always do is, if you are going to be, especially on the digital side, like Jesus said, if you're going to have intellectual property, I'd get a lawyer to, either file your stuff for you, or at least create standard contracts for when you do business with certain people or whatever, so you can have all the legal jargon in there, have all your stuff protected, and under that LLC or corporation that you set up. That would be the main thing I would say that is most important. Of course, getting the entity and getting it registered and good standing, that is the first step. But that's the easiest step. And frankly, you don't need anyone to do that for you. The thing I would say is advise a lawyer or somebody on what type of entity would be best for you, whether S Corp, C Corp, LLC, etc., etc. Like they're all of them come with different benefits depending on what it is that you're trying to do and where you currently are and your journey. So I would first, and you could really just watch a bunch of YouTube videos. I'm not gonna advise you to do that, but it's not nothing that's super, super complicated like how people make it seem. You're just opening up another entity. Any other input on that aspect? I think I might have covered most of it.
Well, just the one thing is, like, one of the biggest differences between the S and the C corp is just the tax implications because of the way that it's set up. But it's also based like how you would know between whether you want to do an S or C corp is whether or not you're going to have people that own shares of the company that are either A, part of the U.S., or if they're going to be international. If they're international, then it cannot be an S corp, just because of the way that it works. So, like, you might just want to ask between just a regular incorporation and an LLC, because an LLC can be taxed either as an S corp or as a C corp. So that I would personally say to speak to a legal advisor as well as a financial advisor. You can, even though you can do it yourself, just to get the whereabouts of how you should file, and then you can decide whether you want to go with them or whether you want to try to do it on your own.
Spot on. And this is great alpha and great communication taking place. Emerging. Any other questions regarding business structure the right way? But again, it's all, we always recommend you follow up with your attorney. But to Zay's point, I have legal software. So I carry my legal software with me constantly, and I have an app that I use that my attorneys call me back within 4 hours. So yeah, you can do it yourself. That is correct, but you need to know what you're doing. If you don't know, then it's always best to pick up and talk to Project 1010 or pay somebody. You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing. If you don't know, pay somebody that knows. That way you'll know. And I think you said this already. You paid somebody to do it, so you have confidence in that person to perform that duty and to open up your LLC the correct way. One step that I added when I started looking at my international trademark, when I started, my code wasn't available when I started. So I had to go with a different code. But that's when you start to get into your trademarking and stuff like that, international. Okay. So I am going to go to the next hand, Project 1010 Jesus. Good morning. And then we're going to head over to our new friend, Wealth. Yes, and that's a nice name. Go ahead, Jesus.
Good morning, Mr. G, Crypto Zay. Actually, the first thing I want to do is I want to do a little bit of a shout out to an amazing artist under the the account Toy Invade. She's an amazing artist out of Miami, Florida. So I just want to give her a little bit of a shout out. But in regards to the incorporation, like it really depends. Like if you yourself are just an artist, and I don't mean that just an artist that's just an artist, because like you guys do a lot amazing work. An artist is the brand. Like that's what you guys are. Like you are the actual brand, and then your service is the art that you provide. So that's your service, that's your product, is the art. But you yourself are the brand. And you like it is beneficial for you to think of your brand of yourself as a company, because then you're able to actually deduct in your taxes everything that you buy for your products, whether it's the paint, whether it's the digital software, whether it's renting out a spot of where you're living and rent it out to yourself, so you can actually have that income being non-taxed. So there's a lot of benefits of incorporating yourself, even if you're an artist. You don't want to do this big ideal, but you just want to focus on you can still incorporate be able to tie in the tax structure and the actual legal implications on it, and you can hire somebody to run and manage the business side, which is the marketing of your art, the metaverse of where your art is going to be displayed, the galleries if it's going to be physical. Like all of that is part of the business of an artist. Even though the artist normally just handles the art, there is a business component to it. And when we're talking about the way that you would set up your corporate structure, like if you're doing a big business and you're gonna have IP rights, and like you're gonna have IP in it, you want to separate the entity that holds the intellectual property from the entity that's actually providing the service and providing a partnership agreement between the two. That way, if something happens with the operating side of the business, they cannot go after your intellectual property. So you want to make sure that you safeguard your intellectual property as much as possible.
Ooh, wee, Jesus, that was some alpha for you all. Like, woo! Did y'all hear? Did y'all hear? Like, I want to call that again. You talked about separating two critical pieces: intellectual property and services. Look at you, Jesus. You just dropped that form. And I wanted to slow down so that we could hear that and really reinforce that messaging, right? Because it's about protection out here. And that's why this Digital Millennial Copyright Act, understanding this world from a business act, we just introducing you to some stuff that we as business professionals are trying to make sure that you're protected and you understand what is out here, and to make sure your content doesn't get taken. What? Make sure your content doesn't get taken. All right, go ahead, Hector, and welcome. I'm sorry, we're just talking to Tropiverse for the first time, and we're 53 minutes in. Good morning.
Good morning. I just really wanted to harp on what Project 10 was emphasizing. And I think it's very important as well as artists, as music artists, that realize that, and also to take advantage of, creating an LLC and operating under that LLC, right? Because
Absolutely.
once you are able to do so, now you're exposing yourself for additional funding revenues. For example, I'm a big proponent of business credit, right? It is actually a lot easier as a business at times to obtain credit than as an individual, right? So being able to kind of understand that and also leverage that can be very, very, very helpful for you as a music artist. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I love to hear that, because that's something that I kind of emphasize to a lot of my music artist friends, or artist friends in general. Always, consult with an attorney as well, as you know, because there is also intellectual property attached to it. But I really enjoyed hearing that, because I'm a big proponent of that, and the power of using that, leveraging that. And
Friday 1010, I see you have your hand raised. Yeah, I just wanted to add a couple things before we go to wealth, and that's like, so if you're an artist that you do incorporate, now people are able to hire you through your company itself, which means that the tax implications are going to be lower because you're not a sole proprietor. You're actually doing business under the corporate the structure itself, and it's not just for artists. If you're a developer, guess what? You incorporate yourself too, because you can actually use, like, if you have code that you yourself created and made up, now you're able to actually put that into a corporate structure for safety purposes, and you secure your code, and you're able to license out that code and get a passive income by actually doing those licenses, right? So it's not just an artist, it's not just big business. Developers can take advantage of that too. And when you're doing business and when you get hired by somebody, instead of just getting hired as an independent contractor and have to pay the highest amount of taxes possible as a sole proprietor, you're able to actually get hired through your company and run the finances through them as well. So there's just a lot of benefits of incorporating, regardless of whether you are a small business, a big business, an artist, whether it's visual, audio, whether you are a developer, whether you're a marketer. Like, instead of just getting hired to a pay for hire, you get hired as the company to do the work. And you, since you own the company, you'd be doing the work for your company, and therefore you'd be getting hired through your own company. You'd be getting your own work.
I love it. And you all, this level of alpha, that means from the source, that's tried and true, that's supporting you all. Like, you pay a lot of money for information like this. So I want you all, I always tell people, when you come to the Genius Room, it's not an accident that you're here. You're meant to be here. And because this is iron sharpening iron, and these speakers that's on this stage, these speakers on this stage, I personally have spoken to minus one, and that's it. And they're new to our ecosystem, so certainly I want to talk with Wealth and get Wealth up here. Did we lose Wealth?
No, Wealth is still up here. I see Wealth on here.
Okay, all right, so let's go ahead. Wealth, welcome to the stage.
Wealth is now gone. That my mistake. Now it's gone.
Oh, where did Wealth go? Oh, all right, well, that's fine, because our speakers are just fantastic. Go ahead, Mr. G.
Sure. Just to carry what he was saying, I do a lot of taxes for insurance agents that earn, between 200 and 400,000 a year, and that was their problem. So I helped incorporate them so they didn't have the same tax liability, and then just bringing that into the wealth. That's why we set up irrevocable life insurance trust, because most people that accumulate wealth wind up losing 55% of it to estate tax because they don't know how to plan properly. But those who do wind up leveraging 110% of their wealth to their family. So just wanted to share that information, and then just try to keep on the music topic. One of the things that I had done for my son is I incorporated his stage name. So if he ever signed a contract, under his alias, Chris Cray, that's incorporated as a business already. And then he has a business that he works with inside of that. So just understanding the dynamics we were talking about here are crucial. And then the other part is, if you are a musician or an artist, going to the copyright office, understanding $185 to, copyright 20 different songs, and then get that metadata into your music so you can get the royalties. And that's what I'm setting up right now.
Oh my goodness, Mr. G.
You had the answers right there. I seen it this morning. I was like, Mr. G's the guy that's behind the nuts and bolts I got to contact with, because I want to incorporate a title. And believe it or not, I just come up with it last night, and it's going to be great, because we're in a catchphrase economy. If you can get a product, it doesn't have to be the sharpest in the shed. It'll sharpen up as it gets used.
I'm just loving this space and just taking in the energy that you all are, sharing. So I appreciate that. And what you're saying is spot on. And for musicians, I hope that this is helpful. For artists, you just changed. So you all are artists at the end of the day, whether you're artists on the canvas. Huh?
You literally just changed my life.
Did he really? How so?
He literally, well, I mean, as far as musically, as far as my artists that work with me and setting themselves up to take care of themselves, um, he did. I'm gonna need a bit. You know what I'm saying? I got to sit down and process all of this. So I'm gonna have to get with him. You know what I'm saying? And after that, I might even get with him during. You know, I'm gonna let him. I'm, I'm gonna let him be for a little bit, but I'm on him. I'm on you, Mister. I'm on you. Like, you're good. You.
And so this is a genius room, Emergent. And so this is what happens because we have everything we need, like, and it's still coming to us. So listeners and followers and enthusiasts, unmute your mic and continue to talk about your superpowers and come up and even ask questions. You see the level of experience our speakers have. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're just sitting down there and you're taking in the alpha and you're not asking questions to go with it, or you're not coming up here and contributing to that conversation. I mean, like, for real. This is where people get to connect with you as a speaker, and they're able to help. They're trusted. If they're on the stage, I trust them to teach the community the right way because this is about standards. Go ahead, Emergent.
Which one would be the best optimal application? A incorporated phrase, or can you patent a phrase, or just use it in a domain? I mean, that's kind of how it works. Or if you send it in a message, what really blocks it in, other than a white page? Because you don't want to message and DM everybody everything you got, you know.
So that's a deep question, and I believe that's based on, do you want to incorporate a word or a phrase, is what your question was.
Yeah, just a whole or a piece of merchandise. You know, you want to protect it after when you conceive it and then develop it. You know,
Okay.
kind of on the front end of things, just so you don't lose it in development if it really feels like it's going to go somewhere to you.
Okay. All right. Got it. Jesus, go ahead.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be under incorporation. That would be more of a like trademark if you're looking for a specific word. Just be, and that's, I know it might be semantics or like verbiage, but you wouldn't technically incorporate what is the thing that you're trying to protect. You would do either trademark, which is more for trademark infringement, or copyright, depending if it's an actual art piece, whether it's visual or audio. But when you do a trademark, you can trademark a work, which is where you see like the little TM sign. That means that nobody else is able to use that unless they have a license from you and paying you a licensing fee to be able to use that specific word or verbiage.
Oh, that is tweetable.
I got my answer.
That's tweetable. What's TM? I'm just saying that's tweetable. Okay, got it. I love it. This is say that again.
I said, Too Much Truth Tuesdays. Every week I do like gems, Too Much Truth Tuesdays, and the alpha that is being dropped right now, I don't think people paying attention to, but that's on them. Y'all got to check the recording. Y'all better come to this room. Y'all better get some of this alpha. Get some of these genius coins.
I'm
Mario Brothers, this coming out. Y'all better catch them. I'll catch them.
I absolutely.
And I'm gonna hit the recording. I'm in the room.
I want to be on the waterfall.
And that's the level of the genius. So I really thank the earth for sending the connectivity. And it's not accident that you all are here. And so this is iron sharpens iron. And the geniuses that's on stage is lending their expertise so that we can all level up in this Web3 world, understanding we're operating in the physical realm at this time. And so there's always that digital where we're ascending to. And so these are the experts on the panel that can help you through music that are and by the way, 2023 ain't free. I need to just throw that out there again. Most people don't necessarily like that slogan, but I need you to understand that these geniuses here run Web2 businesses as well as Web3 businesses. So together, iron sharpens iron. We give our community here Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We give to our community. So thank you, geniuses. I'm so proud of y'all. So I didn't get a chance to say good morning to Chase. So I need to, before you come up, well, I need to say hi to hi BFF. My BFF is on here. Hi, Willie. Okay. So I want to bring Chase up. Chase, and then we're going to talk to Wealth, and then we're going to keep going. And Yomi, mad love to you, boo. Mad love to you. She on the stage. Go ahead, Yomi. All right, Chase.
Good morning. Peace, love, and Web3, everybody. I'm sitting back enjoying the conversation. Listening pretty much, the guys are dropping some gems up in them. So, yeah, you're coming out, you're dealing with any type of intellectual property, just want to get yourself copyrighted. Trademarks are very, very, very important when it comes to branding your company. So go ahead and get the trademarks in. I would advise you going to go get a lawyer, but as they said, a lot of these things you can do yourself. You just have to study, folks. You have to look. You read, look at these tutorials, look at these explanations, but just don't take it on face value. Go and do the research yourself. Go to the United States Patent Office and look at what they're saying. Don't be lazy. Lazy money don't make no money. So I just wanted to put that out there to y'all. All right.
Thank you, Chase. And Chase is in the music industry, and that's one of the different things that he does with smart contracts and musicians. So when I say everybody on the stage, they got these superpowers, y'all. And if they forget to mention them, don't worry about it. I can jump right in and tell you about them because we're iron sharpening iron. So we welcome to the stage Toy Invades Super. Got their flowers from Project 10 Jesus. So and they made it up to the stage. So welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I just wanted to come in. I've been out of spaces for a while because I was taking some a break last year, I think, when the NFT and Bitcoin, there was like all this hype around crypto. I got super excited and I became like addicted to spaces. There was so much knowledge. I was meeting so many people and also making connections in real life. I actually met Jesus through spaces, and I was able to go see one of his fights like live in person. It was so cool, like just here meeting. I've been able to do events. It was just so much fun, but I knew I had to take a little break to recollect and make a long-term plan, and so I can pass because I really want to be here as long as I can be. So thank you so much for having me this morning. I'm telling you, it's so random, and when you say it's like magical and it's like if you're in here, there's a reason for it. I believe it because I haven't been in spaces in months. I have not even touched really Twitter, so I came in and I guess the source and the spirits just guided me into this room. And thank you so much. I had some questions. I just opened up my laptop. I'm gonna gather my thoughts because this is, like you said, so many geniuses in this room, and I appreciate everybody in here this morning. So once I have everything gathered, I just will raise my hand. But thank you again.
Absolutely. Jesus, you got something for?
No, I'm just waiting to hear the questions. I haven't seen her in spaces in such a long time. It's really a pleasure to see her back. I have seen and followed her work because she does post on Instagram. So if you guys want to follow her, make sure you actually follow her Instagram account. A really cool girl, amazing artist, an amazing artist. Like to the point that I invited her into one of my fights, and got her 2 tickets so she could actually go with somebody, and was able to meet her in person. Again, one of the nicest people that I've ever actually met. One of the first people that I met in Web3 because of Spaces. So really glad to have her here. Really glad to have her back. And even though she hasn't been in Spaces, it doesn't mean that she hasn't stopped working, because I've seen the work that she has put. And it because a lot of us tend to think that if you're not in Spaces, you're not working, but that's not always true. You sometimes have to put your ear to the ground, and actually look and for the people that you are following, because it's not always going to be in Spaces, and they are working even if they're working in silence.
Excellent, excellent. So welcome, Queen, to the stage. Very proud. I know how you're containing in that excitement because you finally found your tribe and you're like, whoa, oh, they're here. Wait a minute. Hold up. Time to boot up. Listen, we all felt that way when we met each other. So how you feel right now is how we always feel when we discover the Genius Room, and they're here and they're assisting us. So that's awesome. Go ahead, Zay.
I just wanted to provide a tip for the room title to music and artists overall. I'm gonna speak on music, and if you get offended, that's all you. Most of this stuff, music wise, is trash to me in this space. So my tip to y'all is focus on making good music. Focus on laying down your track properly. Go get the thing mastered. Understand your cadences. I'm tired of listening to whack projects and you expect for me to buy it. Yeah, somebody will buy it for the hype. Half the time it's wash traded, so don't get caught up in that. I mean, majority of stuff in this space is wash traded, so y'all ought to understand how to look for that. But overall, and to make money as an artist, especially a musical artist in this space, first start with the craft. Focus on the craft. Stop focusing on Web3, because Web3 will always be here and develop and just basically grow overall without your contribution. But your music won't do anything unless you focus on it. So please, I beg of you, as a listener, please make better music, and you'll have a lot more success in my opinion. That's all.
As a DJ, can I chime in on that?
Well, beforehand, y'all, we've been here an hour and 15 minutes. How many of y'all have tweeted the room? For real? Y'all always forget to tweet the room. Y'all just get into the Genius Room and everybody taking the Genius Show. If y'all could, take a few minutes in that bottom right-hand corner and retweet the room. Go ahead, Chris.
I wanted to tag in on his statement because he couldn't be more true. From a DJ standpoint, I'm just okay. When I first started DJing, I had to join these record pools. You as an A&R rep would give you this free music. I can't tell you how many hours of garbage I had to sit through to get to a hit. And the way the World Wide Web has changed the distribution of music, as far as it's watered down. Yes, you don't have to go through 200 bands before you get to 1-1. But with that being said, there are a lot of artists that do have good tracks and good music mixed in with that part. I mean, I know it's tough, and just because you can do it, you should do it. So please make sure you have a sellable product before you try to sell it. I guess that would be the bottom line. I mean, but I can respect just about any form of music as far as genre, as far as if you take the time to make it story, you know what I mean, to put a good melody to it, I can guarantee you there's something that can be salvaged out of it. Especially if you give a DJ something that can mix it in with stuff that is better. But let me put it to you that way. But I enjoy it, and every word that he said is 100% solid, 100% true. So I got to stand by that. I got a cool sign on it. Keep it going.
Absolutely. So I am going to, y'all, this is broadcasting live too. So you have Spaces Room, then you have my access to my laptop. I'm streaming live to LinkedIn, to Twitch, to YouTube, and Twitter, I guess. And so part of this is my latest class. And this is what is DMCA takedown, right? And understanding these pieces. So really quick, iron sharpening iron happens daily, and you should be intentional about it. In addition, what is DMCA? So, what is the Digital Millennial Copyright Act and the takedown notice? So, as you all are creators and enthusiasts and artists, you're creating content. So, the Digital Millennial Copyright Takedown is what I really want to stress today, and understanding when your content is removed from your website or internet platform, a request by the owner for their content can be issued. So the takedown notice alludes to anybody on that website that's using your content against your permission. Okay. So what you'll see is there's basic survival skills that you have to have for your content, the overall content creation, and then you have the advanced skills of next steps for Digital Millennial Copyright Act. So once you find something has violated and used your work and is passing it off as theirs, what do you do? So, and that is those steps. So you have 14 days. So make a plan of managing it for 14 days and understand you just might be popular enough where your content is just kind of all over the place and used at different times. So you need to know what those steps look like. And there's simple steps on finding the source for your URL. So where's the infringement taking place? So where are they posting your stuff at? Where did they get it from? Also, how do you own it? Did you create it? Or are you authorized to have it? And then who is authorized to handle takedowns even? So if somebody is using your content against your will, who's authorized to do the takedown notice? Those are all things that I want you all to start thinking about. Your music is great. Your music is your poetry. Your music is your spoken word. But I want you to understand it's melodic, it's melodic, or it's a melody to other people. So therefore, they may want to use your stuff. Like, I might have clipped something off of Crypto Zay back in 2019. I'm just saying. So just telling you, self-proclaiming, sorry, Crypto Zay. So who can take it down? So when a content, huh?
I said, excuse me, you shall be getting a cease and desist from my lawyers.
Yes, sir. I gave you credit though, Crypto Zay. I was like, Crypto Zay, look, I even tagged you on it. I'm using your stuff, Crypto Zay. Take a look. So bad. So bad. So now you have, so this is who can take it down. Content creators, copyright owners, like NFT owners, code writers, social media users. Literally, this pool is vast as to who can come to you and say, take this stuff down. Go ahead, Jesus. I'm saying, wait a minute, Emergent, you had your hand up. Then we're going to go to Jesus.
Interesting. So we're really a small minority when you look at any pool that you think is going to have future growth as far as in this realm. So, the cap be easy to determine. And back to your guys' discussion, mercy, copyright music. Yeah, see my NFTs. I got some books and stuff I'm trying to preserve, and you can't find them. You know what I'm saying, on the internet. I don't know. That might be where my money went last week, because I put my money in an account where I published a couple images, of art that's laying around the house and I've collected. So I don't know. It don't seem like there was any notice. I don't get no notice, so I assume not. But that's a question I have.
And the question you have is about your protecting your music and your books and your art.
Right.
Absolutely. And so part of that whole DMCA.
And where do we draw the line as far as trying to publish it? Because I mean, I'm just trying it. If somebody's got it, I'd love to have it on a digital platform that I could attach my real asset with in the marketplace.
Emergent, and that's what I've been talking to the folks about, is one, understanding the terms and use and conditions. So I'm taking y'all through terms and conditions. Y'all better, before you go anywhere, you need to sit down and understand the platform in which you're thinking about getting into business with. Again, I'm talking to y'all about mindset, right? So you're going to do business with your content with another business platform, okay? So terms and conditions or terms of use is going to be where you should peel back the layers some and understand what you may be giving away, okay? So I wanted to even peel back the layers even more. I'm coming, Jesus. Fair use. So just because somebody's reporting on something that you created or made commentary or even did research behind something you published, there is a such term as fair use. So just because you see somebody highlighting or doing a side by side to a 10-second short doesn't necessarily constitute a takedown notice. So you have to understand what fair use looks like. Okay, go ahead, Jesus.
Appreciate that. So, in regards to the whole publishing, it's like maybe that's where the money went. We really don't know because we don't have access to your finances, and I wouldn't advise for you to give access to your finances except to an actual licensed financier. So with that said, it's like trademark, copyright should be done before you publish, because if you publish first, then it kind of murks the waters a little bit. And then in regards to artists that are, especially musicians, whether it's just the melody, whether it's a full song that is put on an NFT, like I do believe that in that market we jumped the gun as an industry, just because there's a lot of IP going around that does not have clear terms of what that IP can be used for, especially in the NFT space, right? So it's like, are they going to have, by owning that NFT, now they have access to that song, but does that also give them access to be able to use that song at a DJ booth? Does it give them access to remix that song and actually snip it? Does it give them access to play it at a movie theater, at a party, at a whatever? It's like people got so hyped up as, oh, we can do this, that they jumped into it. And instead of just perfecting the craft and hiring people that would be versed in knowing how to apply the technology to their craft, they said, we're just going to jump in and we're going to cut the middleman and we're going to do this, and that, and we're just going to release it on NFTs. Can you do that? Yes, but you also need to have clear terms of what that song can and cannot be used for, right? Because you as an artist, whether it's visual or audio, you need to protect your IP. Because if somebody uses your IP in a bad way, now you're brought down by association. I also want to give a huge shout out to Blue, who's in the room, because it's Blue. But when it comes down to music, it's not just, I'm gonna release a song on an NFT and I'm just gonna send it out there. What are your terms of use? What type of IP rights are you giving to the holder of that NFT? There has been a very big misconception that just because I bought the NFT, I now have rights to the IP, when that's not the case. And it is not given that direct clarity of whether or not that project is providing IP rights. That person who owns it can try to dispute for IP rights, and vice versa, right? So you have to make it very clear. Like, for example, with mine, I put that we, as far as the company, we reserve the right to any and all IP rights, and I forgot what the rest of the text says, but it goes against use without prior approval. Why? Because I want to make sure that my IP rights are protected, that whatever I bring to fruition does not get used in a nefarious way, that nobody's just going to take what I've worked for and says, well, I'm going to copy it because it looks nice. No, it doesn't work that way. Be original. Like, for example, the art is not even my art. I hired an artist who created original artwork for my project. So it has to do a lot with protecting your IP rights as well as protecting the IP rights of the artist who created that IP for you, whether it's audio or whether it's visual. And if it's audio, it's even more just because it's like, how are you going to get paid your royalties every time that it gets played? Right? There's a lot more than just, oh, you have access to the song. Distribution, especially in music, is a huge component. Like, if you're able to get a deal, right, where distribution is included, like you get a portion of the distribution, that's where you're going to be able to make most of your money. Like, because by selling the CDs, you get pennies on the dollar for that, right? Like, there's like, are you producing it yourself? Who owns the masters? Like, do you have access to the distribution? There's a lot of things that as an artist you don't think of, especially at the beginning, because you're just worried about creating the art. When you go into business, all of this other hats get bestowed upon you and you're not ready for that, or you didn't even know they were there, and now you have to try to figure it out on the fly. So before you bring out a project or before you create something, take a little bit of time. You don't have to take years like me, because I spent 5 years in building out the infrastructure for what I'm building out. But take a little bit of time and do a little bit of research, or talk to actual professionals in that space that have been doing it for years. Talk to DJs to find out how it works for them. So, like, what type of licenses do they need to be able to use other people's music, right? Like, talk to producers, talk to developers that actually mix the sound. Talk, like, you have to talk to the people that are in that specific spot of the industry for you to know what it is that they do. If you want to go ahead and try to do this on your own, or build your own team around you that are going to take care of those parts for you, and have all of that written in the smart contract, that when something is sold, like, it's all distributed between and allocated between the actual group that helped you bring this to fruition. But with that, I'll just say hi, Blue. It's been a while.
Oh my goodness. Like Jesus, that was alpha from everywhere. And you all are nailing it. Like today, like, I don't know, we must have got our Wheaties or we slept because y'all bringing it every single day, geniuses. And I love it. So now is a good time to retweet. So that bottom right hand corner for a retweet, Chase, is simple. So I'm looking at 40, 50 people in the room right now, right? Consistently in the room. So all it requires is a retweet. You can retweet what's at the top, the beach club. Here, I'll give you something retweetable. Or just tweet out how you feel about what you're hearing and experiencing in the room so that others come in. You know, one of the proudest moment is continuing to be here, but tweets actually create impressions, just so y'all know. And so last Monday, we had our record high of 14,000 impressions. So, you know, for me, from a stat perspective and analytics perspective, that now becomes the new litmus bar, or and that's what I need to be able to have. So guess what? I'm going for 14,000 impressions. And when those impressions happen, it's because of you all. Like people are checking you all out. 800 people last week, 300 people yesterday. It's because of you all. And folks are like, oh, wait a minute. And FOMO is real. The fear of missing out. FOMO is real. So retweet the room in that bottom right hand corner. You can either put the comment button, you can hit the little circular button, and you can hit the heart button. But that's what I'm asking because I'm really enjoying this conversation. And we got less than 30 minutes before the room shuts down. And then we're going to keep going. So, Chase, go ahead. And then we're headed to personality highlights. She finally made it up here again. I see you every day, though, Queen. I see you. Go ahead, Chase.
Yeah. What we're doing with as far as the music goes,
that music on the blockchain, I'm chopping that file up. You can't download that. You know, a lot of people, you know, first you have to know which program I'm using to chop that file up. So you're hearing a complete file on your end, but you can't download it. The only thing you can do is hit the play button. The artists that I work with, they're not interested in no contract with a record company per se. They're strictly doing music for the blockchain. You know, do they have aspirations for that? I don't think so. You know, the music companies and all these record labels and everything, these guys don't need no help. You know, when I tell people I'm a blockchain enthusiast, you know, I'm telling y'all I'm a blockchain purist. You know, the only thing I use the Web3 world for is those legal matters. You know, so there's solutions around there. Everything keeps protectors out there. Brother said earlier, you know, you don't have to be no expert to perfect your craft. Let me handle the stuff on my end, you know what I'm saying? I got you. Ain't nobody gonna be able to download your music. You know, this is the point of you getting out there and you making some good music. You're able to sell your music to other people on the blockchain. You know, that's exclusive right there. So I mean, you know, those type of things you'd want to make up in your mind and understand which direction that you want to be in, which lane you want to go. Because if you got aspirations on being a rapper or being a musician, to stay out there in the real world, you don't have to use the blockchain. Go put in that work in there. You know, so yeah, I'm gonna land on that.
So we're building, you know, illustration for team networking. That's pretty cool. And NFTs are an opportunity for us to honor past artists and try to, you know, preserve their works and stuff. Because I can open a dozen books I've personally collected, and I've destroyed so many books past.
Immersion, really quickly, and I'm sorry to bother. Immersion, I am so sorry to interrupt you, brother, but personality did have their hand up first, so we should let them speak first, and then I know you had your, I know it was Toy Bates, and then yourself, brother.
All right, thank you. Hi guys, happy new year. I have been in this space for like forever, but I've been so unwell. I've been recovering, and you know, just tuning in here has just helped me, you know, recover well. I really don't have anything much to say because what you're saying, the conversations here is already mind blowing, and I just want to say, yes, I'm excited that I'm able to even speak. This is the first time I'm speaking, you know, after like a week. I had a flu attack, and you were just talking about how to get it right. You know, when we're talking about, you know, copyrights, just makes a lot of sense, because, you know, when you don't take care of these things, they will make your heart unhealthy, and you know, you probably will just break down with some of those prices. I literally have a lot of I do a lot of poetry, and you know, just to make my poetry make a lot of sense, I kind of always add you know, this audios. But I just realized that being in any space right now, music is like the way forward. There's no content literally that you create on the internet that you don't use music to produce. So I've just been having this hack. I've been playing around some great apps that has helped me create just basic music. I'm not a professional. I was just hoping to ask you if there is any recommendation of apps that we could just use. I currently use Bandlab, and when I add the little mixes, it does well. I just wanted to ask that there is maybe more resources that could help, you know, people like me who are not, you know, so great at music and audio creation, like do better. I would really, really do appreciate it. But I'm really happy that I'm back, and this is the first time I'm speaking out without like breaking down. And thank you so much for always making the space work. Yeah, Genius's room, there's so much to learn from here. I'm super excited that I'm just part of the family. So yeah, now just sit back and listen to you all talk, because you always making sense every single time.
Absolutely. And it's always a pleasure to see you, Queen. And so it's good to hear that you're feeling better and that you're able to speak. We're your community. You get, thank you for always being present. And I hope that you're feeling good. And the Genius Room is here for you, and you're a part of the Genius Room. So that's awesome. I know Blue had her hand up, and Jesus, thank you so much for keeping track of hands and all those things. So I didn't know if it was you, if it
So
was.
it was no. So the process was Toy Bates, then Immersion, then and I'll go after Blue.
Sounds great. Okay. Hi, Toy.
Hi. Okay, so I gathered my thoughts. So, I guess I yeah, there's so much information. I'm finally ready to transition to Web3. As an artist, like Jesus Project has mentioned many like key points with fuck, I use this. I blink when I get on this stage. 1 second. He mentioned how artists, we should be able to not be able to, but I would prefer to just focus on the creating part. When I got into spaces, I got very overwhelmed, and it took away from my creative process because I was trying to do like the technical stuff and like teach myself everything about like learning the basics of crypto and NFTs and minting and all of this knowledge that how can I say? I just want to ask, how can I transition? How can I go about my NFT project? I built out my whole NFT project. It's been sitting in my iPad for probably now a year, and I'm scared because I don't I don't know. Like cash to me is tangible, and when I put it into this, up there in this cloud, that scares me. So and I know that we were short on time, but and I know I'll talk to you Jesus more, but if anyone else can like DM me and has the patience to guide me through it, because it's not that I'm so bad and can get a bit overwhelmed, but I can learn. I just like it's a lot of information. Do you know what I mean? It's like I really want to get into it to have everything I need to move forward. It's just like I'm scared, and I need some support. And I feel I've worked so hard on this project. I spent like it's been a very long time in making it, and I don't and I know I don't care if anyone sees it really, or if it sells out. I don't care about the money. I just want to put it out there because I feel like we're living in a time that we're really early, and it's just cool. Like I don't know how to explain. Like I want to be able to 50 years from now look back and say, wow, I wasn't scared and I launched the project in 2023 when a lot of people right now are scared and they're talking so much crap and they say NFTs are scams and crypto's a scam. And I'm like, no, it's not. I believe it because when I go into the spaces, the people that I interact with and I meet are real. The people are out there with the cash and the stupid, the real world. I'm like, that's you guys. Like, get a job and you're just, that's a scam. Like, no, I don't. I believe it. And
Ask them if the internet is a scam, because there's plenty of it on there.
It's better to go to the river with a net in the hands.
so you guys make me just believe it, and I literally every time I believe it, I feel the love, and I love
You're
that.
in your space. You're where you're supposed to be, baby girl. I'm telling you that right now. You are doing the right thing. If it feels right, it is right. And it should feel right because this is right. This is and everything is going. Everything is going this way. I assure you.
Facts. And I would say if you're not scared, then you're not dreaming big enough. Like, you should be scared. Like, it should give you a little bit of fear. Like, courage is not the absence of fear. It's taking action despite the feeling of fear.
And teams always help with that.
Yes, I'm ready. So I'm ready, and I'm excited for this new year, and I want to keep connecting, and I want to be able to keep creating events in real life and spreading whatever I learned and bringing people on into this world, because I know there's a lot of people out there that feel lost right now, and especially with how like the world's a little weird right now. I feel this is a time that we need to unite with our people, and I feel like the Web3 is just like a bunch of soldiers like being called out to battlefield. Like, you guys, we're gonna save our world, and we're gonna take back that control. And there is no control. We are just, we just want to be happy and our world not to die. And, like, I don't know, people not being bad and being starved and so much bad shit. And I know we can't stop like everything. And I'm not saying, oh my God, stop war. But if I can just be nicer to one person and we can just like kind of spread that type of energy, you can make a little bit of it. Anyways, I'm just calling out here for help. I know Jesus has my back, and if anyone can reach out, because I would love to, maybe if I should go about one-on-one for sort of just a cool project. I don't really want to like get too involved with like promoting and like doing all this crazy hype. I just want the people that connect to me, they get to it, and if they don't, it's okay. But yes, sorry.
Are you a traditional artist? Like,
so I'm based out of Miami. I'm a spray paint artist. I just spray paint, and I make these like I do these murals with tape.
Listen to it.
Oh my goodness.
Focus on that. Trust me. All this anxiety that you're having with being scared about Web3 and all of that, don't worry about it. Focus on the art. And little by little, find ways to incorporate Web3 into it. You could even end up spray painting a QR code that ends up having the digital version of your, spray paint on a building. Like, there's several ways, but I'll give you some ideas. But just don't be scared, because that will limit you from doing the things that you want to do.
Thank you.
I am so proud of the Genius Room. Look at the speaker stepping up like, listen, we got this. We got you. Tranquilo. Just relax. We're going to bring this in for you. And so that's what happens in the Genius Room. The hardest thing was for you to come up to the stage and unmute your mic and say you needed help. So good job, geniuses, for the support. And then there's hands of support as well. So I know Project 1010 had his hand up. We haven't heard from Blue, and I've been itching to hear from Blue. It's been a while, Blue. So hello, welcome back. How are you?
Hello, Queen. How are you? Excuse my audio. I'm driving at the moment. My goodness, I want to respond to what I initially was going to say, but first I want to respond to Toy. But first, I got to give the Queen, the host, the lady who is consistent on a regular basis and bringing all the alpha. I highly appreciate it. Please don't take this for granted. We take Steph Curry for granted. We can't do that. when it's happening. And so I appreciate that. And so look, as an artist, I 100% empathize with what you're talking about. Speaking to artists in this space, tons of artists. That's one of the first things that is talked about is me having to become PhD in Web3 is taking away my creativity. It takes away the process. And so we're looking for services that we can trust, that is trustworthy, that gives us the solutions that we're looking for. Things that are almost to the point of code free, where it's just easy to drop, move, and just run and create. It's a very small group of people that you can trust like that at the moment. However, those solutions are out there, and exactly what you're talking about. You should then operate that way. You don't have to become or have a doctorate in Web3. The first thing I'm going to tell you is don't just put your art out. Protect your art. Put your art in an actual smart contract. And then I know, like, well, what's all that mean? And, like, how do I actually do that? And what now? I get you. And so I don't want to take the whole show up. But I do want to tell you, don't put your art on OpenSea. I do want to tell you, have, like, custody and ownership of everything that you do. And we can talk offline. You can talk to everything, because she can definitely direct you down the right path. There are services on how to protect yourselves, IP and everything else. I DM'd you Love, a service, and they actually take care of your trademarks. They take care of your IP. I personally know these individuals. I don't talk about, like, my experiences and things like that fully, but I've been able to be a part of some very successful individuals and individuals that are killing the charts right now, are in movies and all kinds of things, and seeing them start from their basement to accepting Grammys. And so protect your work. Protect your work 100%. Incorporate your name. If you're out of the States, there are services to be able to do the same. And if you're in the States and you're able to get LLCs and all of that, the service is called Resource Me. And I DM'd it to you. I didn't want to just pin it to the top. And it'll help you get those services done. And then also you can find services to be able to get your smart contract in order to actually own your smart contract. Don't just jump out there. You waited a year. You can wait a little bit longer, and you'll be a part of that group that says, I can actually own my things. Because there's going to be a wake-up call that's already happened. And somebody can tell you that you can't receive royalties, and somebody can tell you that I'm going to take this out of your pocket, then you don't own it. And so there's so much. But, like, honestly, collaborations, coming to rooms like this, not getting fatigued, having, like, a list of what's worthy of your time, not going to rooms that are toxic, going to rooms where you actually get some resources, and not going to, like, chilling environments, going to environments where you get alpha and you're learning and you're creating relationships. The reason why people are going to deposit their funds into you is because of the connection and relationship that they have to you. And it's not because you're coming up and saying, buy my stuff that we call NFTs. And you do want that protection and ownership on your projects using blockchain, because like Zay just said, the internet. I mean, you can post something and literally it's everywhere. If you post something on OpenSea, then there's going to literally be over 5,000 duplicates of your project. And so, like, there's all kinds of different things that happen. And so, like, yeah, just be easy. Just be easy. And don't rush it. But yeah, I've talked too much. See you later.
That was perfect, Blue, and I'm so glad that that advice came from you to her to be able to support, and it's equally important. The advice could have came from any of our speakers and experts that's on the panel. So stay encouraged, Queen. Thank you. Good job, Blue. And just like you tried and true, you done been down this path. Like you can understand that's really good. Stay out those shield spaces and make sure that you're getting something of value because you're impressionable. So what you take in, you might want to put out. So make sure you're taking in the right stuff so that you're putting out the correct stuff. Go ahead, Jesus. And then we're going to head over to Chase. I don't know if it was you or Chase first, but go ahead.
Appreciate you. Tori knows I got her back for sure, like 1010%. Like always, like I've been a fan for quite a while because again, her art is dope. Like it's dope, and it's not just the bear, but like the murals that she does with the tape, and it's ridiculously good. So I do have a couple of things in mind. We're gonna talk more in the DMs about that, but like. When we were talking about who was it? Chase was talking about the music and that it's not on the actual NFT, but it's like it's on the blockchain itself. It's like there's so much that you can do with the technology that it doesn't go. It's not just about the art. It's more than that because again of the smart contract. Put it this way, simple for the music NFTs is each song would get access via an NFT. If you buy the whole album via the NFTs, then you actually get an airdrop to go to a concert, and only those who have that airdrop are able to go to that concert. Once you go to the concert, then you're able to actually get a proof of attendance, a POAP, right? A lot of people are not utilizing like the whole Web3 ecosystem as a whole. They're using little bits and pieces out of it, where you can get more out of the whole experience if you actually utilize fungible, non-fungible, and then each individual non-fungible as well, including the soulbound tokens, including POAPs, because POAPs are also non-fungible, right? So there's so many things and avenues that you're able to go through. I'm hearing myself. I'm sorry. Okay, never mind.
We can't hear you. I mean, I can barely hear you.
Yaeunda, I think your mic being on is causing feedback.
Okay, I didn't have it on, but that's okay. Thank you, Jesus. Got it. Try it now.
Sorry, Mom. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is the avenues to be able to actually utilize the technology to allow the artist to be an artist is amazing, because then the artist can focus on their craft, and then the business side would be able to take care of everything else, including the people like the marketing, the distribution, the actual potential partnerships that are going to be coming from that, right? So the artist should only have to worry about the art because that's their passion. And then if you have a business mindset, then you worry about the business. And you have to build those type of partnerships, but it has to be a whole ecosystem. The whole point of decentralization is for there to not be one point of failure. And if you're taking care of everything, then you yourself are the one point of failure. I'll end on that.
Wait a minute. Why you be doing that? Like, I cannot be coming after the half of y'all. I need to go before y'all, because y'all be dropping it like Chris, my DJ. He's my DJ. Like, that was. Listen, I mean, like kapow, and I felt it. It's still vibrating over here. I just want you to know, like, bam. It's like when I hit domino, bam. I'm like, that's how I feel about it, and when I got that emotion right now, like what you just said, that point, that right there. There's levels to this, and I talk about the levels every single time. Go ahead, Chris. It is, and it's levels to this. It is like the levels, y'all, and like peeling back the layers, y'all, and like, goodness gracious, when you said soulbound, I just fell into my chair. Woo. So, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm going to Chase now. I just want you to know, Jesus, you can't be doing that. Like, that was good. That was real good. Go ahead, Chase.
money, leave that part of your smart contract up to platform. So, look, explore the other marketplaces that they got open. I don't recommend any of them, but I use a couple of them. So I hope that kind of makes sense. We're still early in the stage. You got plenty of time to get out there, do your thing, and couple brothers in here that knows, take your time, do the research. You ain't got nothing to be scared of. Check if you're doing nothing to get better. So, I hope that makes sense.
And it makes a lot of sense. And that goes to my last post, which is fact checked everything, right? So we are experts, and this is the information as we've known it. I don't know when the last time people checked what they're speaking. For me, I try to live in current news and fact checked and double checked and quadruple checked based on timing. And so what I would say to you is check what you've heard, but trust is so important. And so as you get into this, and trust but verify is a saying that I used to tell my team a long time ago, trust but verify. And so what that means is inside these speakers here that's speaking, that's on this stage or was on that stage, I trust those speakers. And the reason being is I've been working with these speakers. And so I've seen their work. And that's important to have a trusted network of professionals that I can talk to regarding the facts. So I see that a lot of things are switching in and out, and movers and speakers and things like that. So I can appreciate that. We're on the wind down time. Remember, we're 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. We are here on Spaces. I'm just a talking on mute. I am so sorry. I saw this movement going, and I was just like we literally, I was holding this whole grand conversation regarding subject matter experts and fact checking. So thank you so much, my DJ. I appreciate that. Whole conversation going on. So we're normally here at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and we take in conversation and we talk through issues that you may face. As musicians, do we have a one size fits all and all of the information? As artists, do we have a one size fits all? No, but we've been in this space, and we're the genius room, and iron sharpens iron. So one of the things I'm confident in is that the individuals that's speaking here can actually consult and guide you into the right direction, and that they're going to be honest about when they're guiding you and where they're guiding you to. So I remember, and I always talk to people about mindset, because your mindset has to be in a place where you're able to receive, but you're also able to question, and that gut. See, Orange Digger, is so good to see you. I haven't seen you, Puppet, in a long time, so it'll be good to get you up here to talk to us. But we're going to be closing out the room shortly. Again, this is not, we're here, and so it always runs over. And the reason why it runs over is because when you get all these geniuses on stage and they get to talking and all the passion gets to going, you see why. So we're a small room, but we'll continue to add alpha, bring alpha in that's going to protect you all. Like when I was listening to some people, the blockchain technology, I know what he's talking about, like build your own marketplace, and those are some mindsets that you can have. The wake up call to business. I thought that was a resounding theme that we talked about today. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to start shutting down the room. But I want to hear from each one of our speakers as we're shutting down the room. But first, I'm going to acknowledge Blue hand that's up, and then we're going to go round robin. Go ahead, Blue.
I just appreciate the whole conversation. And I want to tell you that there is quality in this space. It's kind of, okay, I always give analogies because everybody can understand that way. And so you have food that grows from a tree that you pull off a tree, and that's natural and healthy, and it heals, replenishes, and satisfies your body. And then you have like from chemicals that looks like it came from the tree, but it's not. And that food breaks you down. It's more accessible to everyone versus the natural food, and that's what Web3 is. There are quality artists. Latasha is one of those quality artists, and there's so many. Latasha is one of the people that you can look at as far as a music route on how to really build your brand. And if you're not building within smart contracts that you own, then I'm not saying you're not building, but you're not using, you're eating that processed food. And so you're never receiving your nutrients. You're never getting like the actual substance that you need to have. And it's not even a fruit or food from the actual tree source. And you don't want that. And so that's just, like my friend says, not
Your sister,
keys.
is she at?
And so if you don't have your keys to your home, is it your home? If you don't have keys to your car,
All right, so we're going to shut down this last hour, and I'm just going to show you the rest of things to remember. Content is tangible form.
And so just look at the different things. The reason why overseas is not the place.
And we'll try this again next week, where we take everybody through this exercise, because the conversation just continues to grow legs and go. So thank you for tuning in. I want to show you this presentation, and we'll get started. Next half an hour, we'll be on Twitter Spaces. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Their sales are fried. And when people say, well,